1 year ago, and I noticed that at the end of this recap that you can still watch on my YouTube channel, I promise. So she did quit Twitch permanently. I haven't moved to Twitch though. I haven't moved to Kick, I mean, because, well, since I'm not streaming that often, it was not really worth the point of starting the whole new journey on kick.com. At least I didn't find a motivation. Anyway, so at the end of my last year's recap, 2023 recap, I think my mic is a little bit too loud, just let me know. Yeah, I promised that, well, I hoped, I was planning to record a recap of Monaco, Rapid and Blitz Women's European Championships that I won, both of them, in January 2023. And then I was planning to record a video on my game versus Hampi, 218 moves game. And then I was planning to record a video of my game against Gaprindashvili. So I had those plans that unfortunately I didn't keep my word, I didn't keep my promise, and I haven't done anything. I'm not going to start promising right now because, yeah, at some point, Linux Archer said that it was in March last year, March 2024. Somehow I lost motivation. I mean, I asked myself, yeah, I traveled the world, I'm going to talk about it. I just lost motivation to spend even like 10 hours per week on Twitch. Somehow I decided to focus more on my chess, and yeah, decided not to spend a single also I must say that this changes in the Title Tuesday system, well, it was the Title Tuesday Cup was introduced last year. They kind of motivated me to shift away from streaming because, well, they announced prizes, like decent prizes throughout the year, and I was motivated to win this Title Tuesday Cup. Thank you, Georgie. And yeah, Hakim, glad to see you here. Well, we did meet live. We did meet, I wanted to say over the board, but not quite. During my Blitz trip to Malaysia, we did have a chance to meet with Hakim in Kuala Lumpur. It was a very fast trip. But yeah, so one way or another, I did play in Monaco. You might still remember it last year. That's how the year 2024 started for me. It started pretty decently, I must say, with 2 victories, quite unexpected. I mean, 1 victory nowadays, it's hard enough. 2 victories in a row, it's something very, very hard to achieve. And of course, I was very happy about it. And I did stream, I did say something about those victories, and I did plan to do a full complete recap about it, but yeah, I failed to do so. But that was the January 2024 that started with double victory. Then we had a short ski vacation, and then let's see what photos did I pick for you. February. That's another photo, one more photo of Photo Chess. We did a photo shoot in Paris. And this photo is taken in the Cellar restaurant. I believe I have the command, right? It's my... yes, of course, I'm wearing jeans. I'm rarely, actually, I'm not that often seen in jeans because I don't find them very comfortable, surprisingly. I am surprised every time to see people like almost in any weather wearing jeans, because for me it's like not the least comfortable clothes, but definitely not the most comfortable one. So yeah, sneakers I do wear them, yeah. And we can talk about this dress code, and we can talk, of course, about my thoughts about it, but let me first show you the photos that I picked and the games that I picked from 2024, and then we can discuss all the issues that we haven't touched, because I haven't been streaming lately a lot. So this one, yeah, this is a photo from Paris, taken in the Cellar restaurant, the restaurant that is run by my friend Almira Skripchenko. I definitely recommend this restaurant if you happen to be in Paris a lot. Like the food is top notch. It's always fresh. It's amazing. And even though there are many nice restaurants in Paris, it's not that easy to find. Yeah, Georgia, let me show you these photos, and then you will get some more photos from any months of 2024 though. 2025, it's still hard. I'm still working on them. February 2025, not yet. Okay, so that's February 2023. I was not playing. Actually, I played my first classical game of 2024 only in January. Let me double check. I did play a lot of Blitz, online Blitz, Title Tuesday, as well as Swiss Queens on chessarena.com. And because of the Swiss Queens, unfortunately, it was a very unfortunate clash on Wednesdays between Swiss Queens and King's Arenas at the same time. They decided to hold it at the same time, and since there were good prizes in this Swiss Queens events, I participated mostly in those. For the moment, I'm not sure if they're gonna continue or not this year. If they are not going to continue this event, I might consider playing Chess Arenas. Okay, anyway, so that's February 2024, and as I was saying, my first classical game, I'm just double checking. I mean, I've played so many online games during January, February, and March. I think my first over-the-board classical game was back in June 2024, during the final round of the women's Bundesliga, where I playing for my Baden-Baden team. It didn't go very well actually for me. I scored only 1 point out of 3. That was a hard start. But anyway, so that was February. March I picked this photo. It's from Toulouse. March was I spent a lot of time home and with my daughter. And well, here I'm with my husband, and we were in Toulouse, and this photo is taken in Toulouse. Very beautiful, actually, French city. We were accompanying my daughter to her 2 tennis tournaments there. So yeah, while my daughter was sleeping after one of her matches, we went with Pavel, to explore a little bit the center, and we enjoyed it very much. Pavel is doing fine, having a little bit some rest after a very intense end of the year, because he was involved in organizing quite a few tournaments for FIDE last year, including World Rapid and Blitz in New York. So he's now enjoying time home. Okay, April was quite a busy month traveling. This is a photo from one of the FIDE 100 years celebrations. There were quite a few FIDE 100 years celebration. As you may know, FIDE celebrated 100 years last year on July 20th, 2024, because it was created exactly 100 years ago in Paris on July 20th, 1924, where some representatives of some federations, like I'm not sure about the number 11 or so, federations signed an agreement in Paris to create this body that had a goal to govern, to organize, and to chess tournaments, to promote chess. And well, it's been doing it in the last 100 years. So yeah, last year there were quite a few celebrations throughout the world, and I did participate in few of them. And the first one that I participated in was in Bern, Switzerland, and there I gave a simultaneous exhibition. As you can see, I think I even lost one game. Yeah, I lost one game for sure to a young boy. I misplayed out of the opening, lost a piece, and after Bern, nice event, nice weather, nice city. Bern is a very beautiful city. I enjoy coming there. For the last 4 or 5 years, I think every July we do come to Bern to support my daughter during her Swiss tennis championship. And this time, yeah, I came in April to play some chess. Okay, so after Bern, I traveled to Toronto. I was not unfortunately playing there. I hadn't qualified for the candidates 2023. Oh, I'm sorry, 2024. I did have chances. I played well in one leg of the Women's Grand Prix in 2023, but I completely ruined the Grand Swiss 2023, as well as the last leg of the FIDE Women's Grand Prix in Cyprus in 2023. So yeah, I wasn't able to qualify, but since my husband was the tournament director and it's quite a long tournament that ran for 3 weeks, I decided that I might come and just enjoy the city, Canada. I hadn't been to Canada before this trip, and well, it was quite an eventful trip. I must say I did enjoy Toronto a lot, and I did enjoy, of course, the trip to Niagara Falls. Let me find video. I did record some of the shorts for Levitov chess channel. Actually, I did create a few of those throughout last year. Let me share it with you. The Niagara trips. I didn't create any commands, so maybe Dirkji might be able to help me with those, because for those of you who speak Russian, I do recommend my video on Paris that I created during the finals of the Speed Chess Championship in Paris for Levitov chess. Yes, exactly. That's about Niagara Falls. That's a short about the trip to Niagara Falls. And yeah, that's the photo was of course with Vishwanathan Anand. And throughout this trip to Canada, I did record a few other videos that they used for shorts. Let me share them with you. Yeah. Okay. So that was one of the first shorts from Toronto. Just me watching the players arriving to the playing hall. That's the short from the playing hall itself. That's the day I was watching the players in the hotel, like arriving to the bus, because they were staying about 1 kilometer away from the playing venue. The hotel. Then I did a short Niagara Falls short questionnaire on who's gonna win the candidates. And then, yeah, there was a how to say, there was the fan zone during the candidates, and in this fan zone there were some banners explaining the history of the candidates, so I did a few videos on them. Yes, that's what I did. Okay, let's move on. So that was Toronto. Yeah, a lot of shorts. Somehow only my shorts worked well. I must say, only my shorts. Well, for some reason I did record some other videos, but yeah, microphone, it did get a lot of comments. That's a pity, Dirk J. Then I could have been #1. Do I do shorts in English? Well, since those shorts were made for Lviv Chess, they did editing, and I mean, I did some shorts for my channel, but they're not that professionally done, let's say. When I record shorts, although we did have a nice series with my daughter, I'm gonna you can check them out here. Like with my daughter, I was thinking about doing some more. Yes, that last video, and on my YouTube channel you can check out the shorts that I did in English for my channel, or with no language at all. Exactly. Okay, so let's move on. So Toronto. Then after Toronto, let's see what happened after Toronto. Yeah, in May I traveled quite unexpectedly. I did receive an invitation actually to come and participate in a series of tournaments, the Chess Grand Prix tournament in Linz. Yeah, I did get this invitation while I was in Toronto, and that was quite a nice event, nicely organized event in the mall, Plus City Mall, and they had like the whole series of events: Team Blitz and Team Rapid, Austrian championships, surprisingly, and then individual Blitz and Rapid. But since I had no clue and I was invited only to come for a few days, I only could participate in the Team Blitz. And you see our team, we did win this like Austrian women's Blitz team championship, surprisingly. And I mean, I liked this event a lot, and yes, I wish I could play more. No, I think I played Team Blitz and then individual Blitz. Yeah, and then we left. There were 2 more tournaments, Rapid and Team Rapid, that I didn't play. That was May. What else was in May? You know, there was so much traveling, and that nowadays, in order to recall everything, is just I have to look at the photos. Then, okay, May. Didn't I do it? No, I didn't prepare this photo, but if Dirk J will ask, I can show you. In May, we also went to Barcelona. We went to Barcelona. There was a concert of the famous Russian singer Zemfira, and we traveled just for a few days. We enjoyed Barcelona a lot, and we traveled there specifically for this concert, and some short vacation. I also had the chance to visit Roland Garros. I was invited by one of the players there. And almost in 2024 there were a lot of planes and a lot of trips. Yes, a few days at home in May, but yeah, I can see a photo on my phone with a lot of suitcases on May 25th. So we kind of packed for the whole summer and then went on to travel, not the whole world yet, but half of it. Okay. And June, as I said, was the month of the first classical game for me of the year. And this is a photo from St. Louis. I enjoyed playing in St. Louis. Well, I've played in every single Cairns Cup edition so far. I've been fortunate, and last year was no exception. Although there were a lot of ups and downs, a lot of, I alternated good games with bad games, but still enjoyed the city, the summer, and the trip. And we did stay in USA for 2 more weeks, I think, after the Cairns Cup. And we traveled from St. Louis to Vegas, and then from Vegas via the Grand Canyon and some tourist places to LA. And then, no, that wasn't 2023, Dirty. This year, luckily, nobody got sick and all 10 participants finished the tournament correctly without leaving St. Louis before the end, like the official end of the tournament. Yes, and one of my favorite photos with Pavel of 2024, actually, I took them in St. Louis. Yeah. Okay, but that was St. Louis. July. July. We traveled across the US to LA, and then from LA we flew to Paris, where we celebrated the official birthday of FIDE, 100 years birthday, 20th of July. Yeah, so one more torch relay, one more flame, and you can see us at this event in not like in Paris itself, but in the Chateau d'Anières, where the event was organized. Then a short trip back. Yes, exactly, Dirty. Exactly, that was the reason. And in August we flew to Astana, where Pavel was involved in the organization of the World Team Championship, and I was playing in the WR chess team, along with, as you can see, from this photo, Magnus Carlsen. Well, you can see the back of Jan Nepomniachtchi. You can also see the sleeve of Jan Gustafsson, the team captain. Yeah, my face, you can see I made the face. And that's another wonderful photo of Maria, aka Photo Chess. I love this photo. I mean, it's kind of very funny, I think. And I did play very well in this event. And we did manage. No, that's already at Tbilisi. I didn't prepare this photo from the podium. We did manage to win gold in Blitz. We took silver in Rapid as a team, and we did win gold, and I won also, I think, a gold medal, individual gold medal. We won bronze. I'm even not sure. I mean, I see three medals, I see a cup, but I have no clue what places we took. Yes, exactly, Director, in Düsseldorf. That's exactly the tournament we met in 2023, and that's the second edition. but this time it was held in Kazakhstan, in Astana, so wasn't possible to meet, right? We did have a chance to meet in Hogan, but you were not able to attend. Okay, and after Astana, quite unexpectedly, I must say, I had to play the first leg of the FIDE Women's Grand Prix in Tbilisi. That was the very first leg. Somehow the tournaments, like the schedule of the tournaments was announced as usual with a very short notice, and there were not that many players that were ready to play in August. And since, well, I did have other plans. I wanted to accompany Pavel for the French individual championships that he played. Yeah, but somehow I had to play in Tbilisi, and that's the first game of this tournament against Alina Kashlinskaya, who played just incredibly there and who won the tournament. But in this particular game, it was a decent draw. It was quite a good game from both sides, and we agreed on a draw at some point. Okay. Let's go on. The September, of course, was the month of the Olympiad. The previous photo, okay, was from Tbilisi. This one is from Budapest and Hungary, and that's our Swiss team before the first round. I'm very happy because they let me rest in the first round. And yeah, other girls played, and well, that was the only not playing round for me. I did play other 10 games, and our team did pretty well. We actually qualified. We managed to get a World Cup spot. That team graciously allowed me to play. And we fought well. We played against on the first board, even against the future winner of this Olympiad, and it was nice, I think, an event and nice experience for our quite young team. Okay, not taking into consideration the player who are playing on the first board. Okay, the October was the month of the Global Chess League. It started with the event in London, the second edition of the Global Chess League. Last year it was played in Dubai. This year it was played in London. Very interesting event, but quite challenging because you need to play as a team with, yes, exactly, Dirkji, with some of the players that you would otherwise not play for different reasons. But somehow, even though it was quite challenging at the beginning, we did manage get lucky to qualify to the final, and in the final we did manage to win. And exactly, this last video, what is the command? Last video that I uploaded throughout this month to my YouTube channel. It's a short video from the final moments of the Global Chess League 2024. A special thing about this edition was that we played with no increment. So the time control was like 20 minutes, with like you make a move, you don't get anything. And there were like quite a few completely chaotic time scrabbles, and including a few of such in my games. And in this final moments video you can watch me playing against Tan Zhongyi. We did play two crucial games with Tan, that was a very nice event. We did win the cup And for my team, the Triveni Continental Kings, it's a second cup in a row. So 2 editions, and 2 victories, which is incredible, of course. And I did enjoy London a lot. We were staying quite far away from the venue. The venue was closer to the center of the city, but at some point it was Humpy Knight and Bishop Mate was in Samarkand World Blitz Championship 2023. So it was exactly 5 kilometers away from our hotel in London to the playing venue. And we were very lucky with the weather, and at some point we just started to walk to the playing hall, and from the playing hall, Pavel was there in London with me, and those walks were wonderful because we were going by the Hyde Park and by all the parks there, and we did have time to enjoy London, not only play chess, which is not always the case. Usually when you think the chess players, they do travel a lot. Well, they do travel a lot, but not always they are able to see something else apart from playing hall. Okay, that's the Hogan. Hogan was a nice small event with 4 participants playing 2 games with each other, so 6 games in total. And Lynn Roberts won it very convincingly. She did play a wonderful event. Unfortunately for me, I lost to Eileen with white. And even though I did play a few good games. I did win against Maria Muzachuk quite nicely at the very in the last round, but it was not. And Eileen was just unstoppable. She just started with, I think, almost 100%. The tournament distance was too short to catch her, and again, she played a wonderful tournament. But I did enjoy the autumn days in Hogan because we were staying in a small hotel somewhere in the forest, and there was a family of deers living there. They were very cute. I had the possibility to feed them. And if you follow my Instagram, I know that it's closed. Hogan is probably, it's not the right pronunciation, but okay. So if you follow my Instagram, you might be able to find a short, a second moment of video with one of the deers from that trip. Then started our around the world trip. So we started in Paris. We flew to Calcutta via Abu Dhabi. Our plane was delayed, and that's why we needed to stay one night in Abu Dhabi. So it was Paris, Abu Dhabi, and Abu Dhabi, Calcutta. In Calcutta, I played the Tata Steel Rapid and Blitz. Unfortunately, in a completely winning position in the first round against Alexandra Garячкina, I lost. And after that, I wasn't able, to bounce back. I fought hard. I did what I could, but it was not enough to fight for higher prizes. So in Rapid, I couldn't improve my result. In Blitz, I did a little bit better than in Rapid, but still not good enough. And the most difficult thing for me was that I got sick just the night before I had to travel. So I was trying to recover from this sickness. Then I was not able to walk. So I had to stay in the hotel, and even though the hotel was amazing, the food was excellent, but I was kind of suffocating there. I wanted some fresh air, and I wasn't able to get any, and the tournament was not going easy. So was not. was not happy about the whole situation, but okay, it was an interesting experience playing in the venue completely packed with spectators, and we had to fight our way through a bus to that was quite something. And then after Calcutta we went to Singapore via Bangkok. We made a short stop in Bangkok just for tourist purposes. I've never been to Thailand actually. Did enjoy Bangkok a lot. And then we went to Singapore where my husband was involved in the tournament organization, and I was there just to accompany him mostly, although I did give a few simuls, and there were quite a lot of fans. So you can see this photo of me giving one of the simuls, and of course I was watching the match. Yes, I wish I could, Georgie. It was not even enough to get any like silver cards or like upper travel cards, because I missed it for a few points. Nowadays they make some such rules that it's just miles, they don't always count. You have to some qualification points, and since you travel all the time with different airlines, it's not enough. Can you imagine? Yes, organizing tournaments is quite a stressful thing, especially chess players. They're not always the most, easily to to digest creatures. Let's always stressful, always under pressure, always ungrateful, and complaining about genes. So yeah, organizing tournaments is not always easy, but yeah. Anyway, Singapore, and then after Singapore there was, I think, 2 weeks gap between Singapore and New York. And instead of going back to Europe and then flying to like decently from our home to New York, we decided to complete the circle and not fly back home at all before New York, but just continue around the world and arrive to New York via the Pacific. Apparently, geography was not a very strong part of ours. But thanks to those lack of geography knowledge, we managed to see quite a few countries. Well, first of all, while I was in Singapore, I got an invitation to fly to come for a few days to Malaysia, to Kuala Lumpur, where I met Hakim and where I gave a short simul, just for 2 days. And then I got back to Singapore, and from Singapore we flew to Sydney. Yay, that's not Sydney, but that's definitely one of the highlights of my round the world trip. That was something amazing. So Sydney was, of course, like all about koalas and kakadoos. And then from Sydney we went to Auckland, New Zealand. Also quite a nice trip, but a very short one. And then before flying, we could have taken a flight from Auckland to New York. There is a 15-hour flight, a direct one actually, from Auckland to New York, and it would have been easier probably for us, but instead we decided to make one more short. So any guesses where this photo is taken? That's me in the mask. Not a scuba diving, but just snorkeling. But actually, Hawaii was we were choosing between Hawaii and this place, and decided to go to this place. It's close, enough. It's a close guess, let's say, Turkey. So in the right location, definitely the Pacific Ocean, not Bahamas, not Maldives, but the Pacific Ocean. And we were so happy that we decided to take this trip and to take this snorkeling tour. Turtle Island. Well, it's not really a turtle island, but, well, it's Tahiti, guys. French Polynesia. And yeah, so you were getting closer. And we stayed there for a few days. Yes, we went with Pavel around the world. So we stayed and we didn't go to any islands like a part of Tahiti, Papiti, I mean, itself. But yeah, we did go snorkeling and we saw some of the turtles. I do have some videos of this snorkeling tour. We saw 2 kind of sharks and we didn't see dolphins. But there were so many amazing fish. Amazing. So if you do happen to be in the Pacific, do go under the water. I mean, that's the most impressive part. Yeah, sharks were not interested in us. Completely. And we also saw stingrays. Yes. So, and that was quite a change. So first of all, it was quite a long trip from Tahiti to New York by LA again. Twice in LA that year, 2024. And it was quite a change in temperature. Because when we left Paris in November, okay, we went to Calcutta, then we went to Singapore, then we went to Sydney, New Zealand. I mean, everywhere was summer. It was warm. New York was snowing when we arrived. And yeah, Rapid and Blitz. And I did play quite well in Rapid, although I lost the first round. After getting such a huge opening advantage, I did spoil the middle game completely and lost the first game and had to suffer through, but managed to get back. And unfortunately, I lost in the 9th round to Katerina Lagno, although I had good chances in that game. But I won 2 last games and I did share the 2nd place. But because of my loss in the first round, I didn't have such a great tiebreak, and I finished only on the 6th place. But nevertheless, I was pretty happy about my result in the Rapid section. While in Blitz, that was a complete disaster. I mean, even though I won the first game, I lost the 2nd one, and I struggled throughout the whole tournament, but I was not able to get back anywhere closer to a prizes range. Not even saying about the top 8 that qualified for the knockout stage. It was just not my tournament. But okay, happy about Rapid, not happy about Blitz. But on December 31st, since I was not qualified for the final day of the Blitz saga in New York, I did manage to play one more Title Tuesday, and thanks to this tournament and the result in this tournament, I won the 2024 Title Tuesday Cup. Let me show this. Yeah, because I scored 7.5 points. I scored 7.5 points, and it was... Yay! That was exactly what I needed, because we were very close. Alexandra Goryachkina and myself, and then... where is it? No. Okay, let me show you. The leaderboard, yeah, that was... The leaderboard, you see, 145.5. 145 and a half, and that's thanks to this result in the last on December 31st in the last round. That was quite a nerve-wracking game as usual, and that's the top 20 result of the year. I mean, both of us, Alexandra and myself, we've played more than that, more than 20, but the best, the best 20 results counted towards the the overall result. And as you can see, it was very close. And yeah, it finished. Alexandra Горячкина, by the way, she played the second edition of the 31st of December. I didn't play. We went with my daughter to walk around New York. Yeah, and this year Title Tuesday Grand Prix 2025 is starting actually today. I'm going to play in my first Title Tuesday of the year in 2 hours. Well, it proves that certainly I can play online Blitz, Dirge. Certainly online Blitz. It's a little bit different from Blitz, the Blitz over the board, but yeah, I do know that I'm capable of playing a decent Blitz tournament. But anyway, okay, that was that's it for the photos that I chose for you. Georgia gave away a few gifts up, so you can pick 2 more photos or 3 more. October. Let me see. October. I will need to sub photo. I'll prepare. I think I have something from October that I haven't. I need to find it. The iPhone. Okay, backup. October. October is. It's the Global Chess League, right? So let me find the London. The London. I have a lot. Okay, let me this one. Oops. I need to make it smaller though, because it's a big one. Here we go. Okay. That's the London. And 2 from my birthday months, which should be April, right? Which should be April. Yeah, big Pavel, exactly. April. Birthday months. Let me find something from my birthday then. If it's a birthday month, I showed you the photo from Toronto and from Bern. Okay, well, Niagara Falls is also nice, but I'm sure you would prefer to see my birthday, right? Birthday, we went up. The Toronto, what's the name? Toronto TV Tower? The rotating restaurant. The turning point. The turning point. Okay, here we go. Okay. That's the birthday party. Pavel is working. Me, I'm enjoying the oysters. Not bad, huh? Not bad. And the second April photo. What would you enjoy? I was not with Francesca on that day, unfortunately. The day before. I was not with her. But okay, since we talked about the Niagara Falls, and I'm showing the photos with Pavel, That's the photo with Pavel. Before the trip to Niagara Falls. Anyway, yes, so let's move on. The pink revolution, yes. People in pink raincoats. Let's move on to the games. I think it should be here somewhere. Let me see. Where is this? Here we go. The games of 2024 that I picked for you for the stream. 10 games, I suppose. I think, yeah, 10 games. So I won't be diving in depth because it can take, hours. But we will talk about some of the most memorable games from 2024 for me. So it started, as I mentioned, quite well with 2 victories in Monaco. And this is the crucial round, the final round of the Rapid Championship. I think a draw, even a draw, would have been enough for me. To secure the gold. But I went on to win it. So that the game against Tushenina, and she played the some kind of hybrid, well, the Philidor, right? The Philidor, let's call it the Philidor. Knight g2 e2, quite rare move. Usually, of course, you develop the knight to f3, but the idea behind developing the knight to e2 and not to f3, just to keep a possibility to be more flexible, to keep a possibility to push the pawns of the king side more freely. Because when the knight is on f3, of course, f4 is not possible. When the knight is on e2, at some point, you're able to play f4. Bishop e7, h3, and yeah, you see that I playing quite aggressively. So h3, g4, trying to prove that, well, even though the Philidor defense is quite a solid opening, but it's rather passive, and I'm able to play quite aggressively. c6, a4, stopping the b5 move, although it's not the most precise way. Bishop g2, I think it's better. After b5, we can stop the advance of the b pawn by playing a3, but okay. Because after a4, okay, black already is ready to do something in the center. She could have taken on d4 and played d5. And probably she should have taken on d4 and played c5. Instead, d5. Instead, she played a5. That gave me some, yes, exactly, Georgia, some time to develop bishop g2. It's important to develop the bishop because, well, it takes on to control the d5 square. Knight a6, castle. Was not the only possibility. I could have played bishop e3, h5, quite a reasonable move, right? I played very aggressively, but it can double fire. I mean, it can backfire because those pawns can also become easily attacked. But luckily for me, after h5, I'm able to consolidate my my pawns by playing h4. And then, exactly why I developed my knight to e2, I played f4. So, very strangely looking pawn structure. Usually we don't suggest to push pawns forward so much because, well, we know that pawns don't go backwards. They do create weaknesses when they're pushed forward. But in this particular case, it's a possible reaction, because first of all I do secure the pawns here, I prepare f5, and black's pieces are miscoordinated. They are not placed nicely. We can see that the knight on h7 is not able to move at all, the bishop on e7 is like looking at the pawn chain, the knight on e6 is at the other edge of the board. So yeah, quite passive, and that's why I can play so aggressively. f6. Black tried to free her pieces, but unfortunately f6 does weaken the g6 pawn a lot, and that's exactly what I'm highlighting by pushing the pawn one more step forward. That's quite a pawn structure. You wouldn't see it in any games. I mean, a lot of pawns moves in the first moves. Yeah. Okay. f5, attacking the g6, queen e8, taking and playing bishop h6. And yeah, suddenly, despite the fact that I almost ruined my own king side, well, at least I got rid of all the pawns around the king, my king, my pieces are much better developed and much better coordinated, and black's king is quite weak. Queen d2, coordinating my rooks, getting closer to black's king. Okay, black decided to capture, rook a to d1, yeah, and suddenly the game transposes to the endgame, but the endgame is also better for me, because well, the knights are still very far away from the center, and this pawn on d6 is suddenly a key weakness of the position. There is no way to defend it properly, because if black plays rook f6 and e5 will follow, and yeah, black is in a lot of trouble. Knight c5, giving up the d6 pawn, and okay, I got a very big advantage, and even though I cannot say that I was like very precise in the technical part, but I did not spoil it, and did manage to win the game. Although again, I could have played more precisely. I did give some counter chances to black, but at the end, okay, that's already a draw. But at the end, black did make the last mistake. Okay, rook b7 is yeah, well, we all spoil it quite a lot. If you don't spoil any advantages that you get, that's kind of very dubious. I mean, usually people tend to spoil, especially in blitz and in rapid, because in order to be precise, technically you have to have time. And here I didn't have time. Here, yes, that's a drawn position. After king f7, the game would end in a draw. And again, a draw was enough for me to secure the title. That's why I was playing very like solid. But after rook b7, suddenly, yeah, my pawns are too strong. Suddenly I'm winning. Yeah, and a nice trick to win. Not the only way to win, but good enough. That was a very nice victory, and in January. And after that, I played a lot of blitz. I'm not going to show any online blitz today. One of the first classical over-the-board games was in Cairns Cup. So the game against Anna Ushenina was in January. This one against Elizabeth Pertz was in June 13th, so almost 6 months later. I did lose to Elizabeth in this exact line in the European Team Championship. And she decided to repeat this line. And this time I tried another variation. And she was not very precise in the opening, and I did get an advantage. Although, I'll show you. So knight h4 is just a part of home preparation, a very interesting move with the idea to force black to take on g3, and then the f file will open up, and like psychologically it's very difficult to agree on this exchange during a practical game if you haven't analyzed it at home, because it feels like your king is forever stuck in the center, and we know that if the king is stuck in the center it might be easily attacked. But actually that's the way that black had to proceed. Instead she played g6, and of course here I should have taken on f5. After g takes f5, well, I have a pleasant position, but instead I overcomplicated. I tend to overcomplicate things. I played knight to d2, but then, okay, I did manage to find a good move here, queen f3, despite the fact the pawn is hanging, black is too undeveloped. And this pawn sacrifice, it gives me more than enough compensation. So black decided not to capture on b2, but then again the king is still in the center, and how to solve this problem? Bishop f5. That's how black tried to solve it. But even though black managed to castle and we have opposite bishops on the board, but white's position is very, very pleasant, and I can like improve it forever and then prepare the breakthrough somewhere in the center. And that's what actually happened in the game, although we did demonstrate some positional misunderstanding in this particular moment. Here, as I said, my plan should be to coordinate my pieces and to prepare a breakthrough, either here, which is more difficult, or here. So I can play rook d1, I can play c4, and then prepare f4, and her king with queens and the rooks on the board is pretty weak. Instead, but my game, my play should be around getting closer to the king. Instead, I decided to offer queen's exchange, which of course had to be accepted. And then, yes, I have a pleasant endgame, but it's not clear if it's going to be enough for me to get something out of it, because opposite colored bishops are on the board, and without the queens on the board, the attack, of course, is not dangerous anymore. Instead of accepting this exchange, somehow, my opponent decided to keep the queens on the board, which helped me a lot, because after this queen's retreat, I did finally realize that I do have quite a big advantage, and I did find the right plan. Yes, it's not a tactical mistake, but it's a positional mistake, quite a significant positional mistake from both sides, as I demonstrated. First of all, I offered the queen's exchange was wrong, and my opponent decided not to exchange queens, which was pretty wrong. But since I was the side who had quite an advantage from the start, my mistake could only lead to like equality, while black's mistake is more serious for her, because, well, the position that she ended up with, it's just very sad. After this queen b6, there is no more mistakes that black made, but she still lost the game. That's how sad it is. Okay, of course she could have played, she could have been more stubborn in a way, but it's a very unpleasant situation. Here I could have played d4. Okay, instead of, I decided to do a few more waiting moves, coordinating moves, but I did play d4 at the end. And yeah, then I just won the game. You see that I improved the position of my bishop, and then yeah, I break I break through. I break through, and it does look very powerful, and black is so helpless. It's like this kind of games where you lose and you, like, after the game you feel that you haven't really make any mistakes, but you still lost so in such a cruel way. Yeah, it's a sad game. It's a sad side to be at. So I can be pretty happy with this game. Then I won another game against Nana Zagnidze, this tournament, in the same almost way. But I did lose some of the games in St. Louis, and it didn't allow me to show an even better result. Okay, the next game, crazy game, a blitz game, so I won't be really giving a lot of comments, but it was the final game of the FIDE World Team Blitz Championship in Astana, and our team won in the first encounter, and we needed to win in the second one as well. And I was playing white against Harika. It was an exchange French, and she did allow me to play c5, which I consider to be inaccurate. And nowadays black actually plays c4, c5, c4 himself when playing like something like this: knight f6, bishop d3, and c5, and then c4. So I think that's much more active than allowing white to play c5, because tactically in this particular situation white is able to hold this pawn chain. Bishop e3, bishop g4, knight b2, d2. Yeah, and I got just a very big advantage out of the opening, which nowadays it's quite a task. It's not so easy to get a big advantage, especially when facing the French defense and playing an exchange variation, the exchange variation. So yeah, I did get a huge opening advantage, but then I misplayed, and black even had chances to win, although for the moment, I mean, everything looks great. Here the computer suggests that f5 could have been more precise, and after queen c7, rook a2, e1, and black has a lot of troubles with this knight in the center. You see, sometimes knight in the center is also not greatly placed, but I decided to attack it on g6, and black was able to start the counterattack on the queen side, and suddenly the position became a completely chaotic. You see actually the times. I had 2 minutes, my opponent had 1 minute, so I also had a time advantage, but it didn't help me. Okay, this move doesn't look good because it allows black to play on e4, f5 also. Okay, it's still pretty winning for me. I had to take on h4 and then unpin the pawn on c6, just play queen b3. The bishop is hanging, the pawn is hanging, and okay, I should be winning here, but instead, okay, I decided to pour more oil into fire. Well, that's what we say, to more fuel right into fire. Not sure how it's said in English. In Russian we say oil, but I think in English it's fuel. Yeah, and suddenly, even though, I mean, black's pieces, half of her army are on the 8th rank, suddenly the position is not that simple anymore, and here black already has an advantage because my knights in the center are not stable. The pawn is on f5, not on f4 to hold. Okay, bishop d6, but it's just very complicated. Okay, knight d7 is a mistake. I had to play knight d3, but don't ask me why. Sometimes you need hours to understand what's going on. Yes, and knight d7 is a big mistake. Okay, I like to move my knight forward, but here it opens up the c file for the rook, and that's why I had to go back And yeah, after rook c3, I'm in trouble. And you see that already my opponent, who is pushing on the clock, 30 seconds versus 22. Okay, and here black was winning by playing knight to g2. And the idea is nice, just to attack and then queen e3. And suddenly it's black who is winning. Queen f2. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Well, knight takes g2 would have been quite an unpleasant surprise. Luckily for me, my opponent didn't find it. She took on f4. And queen g5 is a serious mistake. She should have started with rook g3 if she wanted to play queen g5, because after queen g5 suddenly I play queen g4. Queen, not rook, because rook to g4 allows black to give check on e3, and then knight takes g2. Quite a hard move to notice anyway, but okay, knight takes g2 is not the only move. h5 is another nice trick. But I played queen g4 and it's a very strong move here. Suddenly the attack is gone and my pawn on d7 is still alive. Rook g3, yep, rook g4, okay, rook takes h4 was also pretty strong, with the idea to play knight c6. Or even knight e6 as the computer suggests, but okay. And okay, after some hiccups, I was able to win this game, and it was, as I mentioned, a very important game for the team. So we did win that match as well, winning the FIDE World Blitz Championship. And then there was Tbilisi, the Grand Prix in Tbilisi, and during Tbilisi I didn't win. Actually, I think I won only one game. Let me double check if I'm not mistaken. But I think I won only one game. Yeah, I won only one game in the tournament, and that's exactly the game. That's exactly the game, almost flawless. Yeah, well, I lost two, unfortunately. I played the Scotch opening. That's the opening I started to play in 2024. I hadn't played it almost. I think I only had 2 games, and I lost both of them before this game as white. So I wasn't really using this opening a lot, but I prepared it for Tbilisi. And yeah, in the very first game I managed to win it. Bishop d3, quite a rare line. It was prepared specifically for Tbilisi's Grand Prix. Castle. Okay, d4 is another option for black. Castle. Well, the idea behind white's moves is just to create a slightly better pawn structure and just, hope to attack those pawns in the future. Okay, that's all. The opening line, white is not getting a lot of advantage, and I must say that my opponent played very well, although quite slowly. She did spend a lot of time. She did find a very interesting pawn sacrifice, and even though I won a pawn here, but it's not enough to win the game. But okay, a pawn is a pawn, so black needs to be precise to equalize fully. And black played well. We both did play okay. h3, a very interesting plan with h4, h5, h4, h3. Okay. I didn't want to play g3 because it creates, it puts my king into quite an unfortunate mating net. So I did keep the pawn on g2, allowing my opponent to capture on g2. That's what she did. But of course, after she captured on f2, my pawns are pretty weak and my king is still weak. And so even though I have an extra pawn on the queen side, it just shouldn't be enough to win the game. King to g2, very bravely. And position is about equal. Equal. It was equal for a very long time. And then, okay, here I had to be careful not to get checkmated myself. Yeah, and here she had to play, well, the easiest way was to play queen e5. And then I was going to play king g1 actually, because, well, what else to do? Otherwise, I could be in trouble. So I think if she would play queen e5, I would play king g1 and we would just agree on a draw here. But instead, she was in quite a serious time trouble. And for some reason, she panicked here, although like the worst part is already behind her and she did play very well. And she played a5, which is a very, well, it's not like, according to the computer, it doesn't change the evaluation of the position at all. But yeah, the problem is that after queen e5 I cannot force a trade because of rook takes h2. That's the problem. That's why, I mean, after queen e5 I kind of prepare to play queen d4, but black doesn't allow me, of course. But after e5, so it doesn't really change the evaluation of the position, but the problem is that after queen d4, the problem is that I have a possibility to put my queen on the long diagonal to give a check, and here she that often happens in the practical game when you make an inaccuracy, and even though according to the computer it's nothing serious, not a big deal, but the problem is that after this inaccuracy you need to make some more difficult decisions. And here, for example, and we remember, oh, let me close the window because it's getting hot. Yeah, I'm back. Otherwise, it was... I still have a few games to show you. So yeah, after queen d4, not bad, I mean, for black at all. Queen f6 would still probably end the game in a draw. But okay, it's an end game, a pawn down, and you know, it means that the game will be will go on for a few dozens of moves, and as often happens, after one inaccuracy, a big mistake comes, and f6 already loses the game because it just weakens the king too much, and it weakens the g6 pawn. And after queen a7, suddenly black is in trouble, because after king h6, rook g1 will come, and the pawn on g6 is hanging. And after bishop takes f7, I found a very nice tactical shot. I was planning to play rook g1, which is still good enough. But then, you know, I was calculating some lines. Black has some counter chances. I had to retreat my rook and protect the pawn on h2, and there are checks, and you have to consider them, and it's not that clear. And that's why instead of playing rook g1, I decided to look for more options, and suddenly I found a very cute move, which I made. Bishop takes h6. It's not the move that you notice immediately, but once you notice it, everything is clear. No need to calculate long, complicated lines. Yes, king g6 or queen g6 would lead to the same thing, and rook h2 doesn't work. There is no perpetual here. King f1, because king f2, queen c2, so king f1. And yeah, queen g1, I think that's the line I was calculating, queen d4. Like, looks good enough. Yeah, bishop takes g6 was a nice end of the game. Then another game with Harika, this time from the Chess Olympiad in Budapest. As I mentioned, well, we played a decent tournament with our team. We did meet, we did play against India and USA. And even though we lost both of these matches, the match against India, we were doing pretty well. and I did manage to win myself. So, like, Indians needed to work hard to win this match. And against Harika, well, it was a long theoretical battle, and she did equalize. Some Italian nowadays, there's so much theory that, okay, we're not going to discuss it in details, but it's been seen in many games, this line. And yeah, queen b8, queen e7 is such a maneuver. I think not the loud one, Dirkje. About the loud one, you can check out the loud courses, right? I don't know my own commands. You can check out exactly. You can check out on in my course on chess.com. Well, that's what happens nowadays. You know, I'm kind of disappointed in a way that, well, nowadays it's all about clickbait, right? It's all about like big victories. If someone has her own channel or his own channel, most likely you're not gonna see lost games on this channel. So you get the impression that this particular person wins every single one. But okay. It's so much more pleasant to show the games that you win. Okay, well, that's still a theoretical line. I did misplay somewhere, rook c2. Well, you know, I've seen a similar idea, but it's not the right moment to play it. Because here black gets time to... Queen a5 is a mistake. She could have, you know, started 97 maneuver. Maybe it's not such a, you know, such a bad idea to start the channel where you're gonna show only your lost games only. That would be such a gasp of fresh air, not to say it. Okay, anyway, queen a5, bishop d2. No, I think queen a5. Well, here bishop d2 is wrong. Knight g3 was supposed to be played because I'm helping black in a way here. But okay, I was doing something. My opponent was doing something. I mean, we were pretty happy, both of us. Bishop e3, probably bishop c3 was more precise. Okay, some maneuvers. Oh, what is it? Well, knight g3. That's why I didn't play knight g3. Yeah, the problem is that in the game I was going to play knight g3, but then I realized that bishop takes h3 is a possibility, and I didn't feel like getting into these complications. That's why I played bishop e3, just to eliminate the possibility of bishop takes h3. And okay, well, black is doing okay, more than okay. She did solve all opening problems. And what went wrong? Yeah, for some reason she decided to start playing on the queen side. She moved her queen away, and the right plan would be to play on the king side. She could have, you know, she could have pushed the pawns. Here she could have played g5 or even h5. She could have been more aggressive, and it would be the right way to do, the right side to play. Instead, she decided for some reason to play queen a5, and somehow was focused too much on the queen side, and it did allow me time. Yeah, you see, she pushed all her pieces towards the queen side, and I played in the center. Well, as we say, if your opponent plays on one side, it's often a good idea to play in the center. And yeah, here she was not precise in those complications. She had to take on d4, I think, with the c pawn, then take on then take on c4 with the bishop, because it well, it opens up her queen. It helps, and that was the line I think I calculated in the game. Black is more than okay. I don't have anything, I mean, it's about equal. But instead she captured on d4, And suddenly it's not that easy anymore. She captured on d4 with the e5 pawn, not c5. Because after bishop takes c4, I had a very nice possibility. I just didn't believe it's gonna work. I could have played e5. And after d5, the idea is, yeah, sacrifice the pawn, but this bishop is blocked now with her own pawns, and I can continue and play e6. And then my position is just so powerful. e5 would have been nice. And yeah, if she captures on d4, I take on d4, and then again e6. My goal is to get to this king. Her pieces, look at her pieces. For some reason, suddenly only one piece is left on the king side to protect the king. Exactly. She pushed all her pieces to the queen side, and I could prove that it was the wrong plan. Instead, I did not believe in myself and in my position. I didn't play e5. I saw a line that happened in the game, and I said to myself that, okay, it's a pretty solid line. I'm just winning back the pawns that I sacrificed. And I was pretty happy. Knight e4. The only problem is that here black should have taken on e4. When I saw that it's like the strongest way for her to play. And actually I calculated all this line during the game. And yeah, somehow it's a nice draw. Okay, I didn't see knight f3, of course. I calculated till this moment. And I said to myself, okay, I have an extra exchange. That's clear that she has a lot of compensation, but with the king on h7 and my queen and knight on d7 and h, for sure I'm not risking to lose. And most likely it feels like a draw for some reason, and it's indeed a draw. Like this one is a very cute computer-like line. And okay, king h7 or king g8, and then yeah, check. That's how the game could have ended if she would take on a4, but instead, yeah, she didn't have time to calculate, and she played queen a6, but after queen a6 the position was lost. And I did play well in time trouble, even though I was not sure about my decisions. But when I got back home and checked it with the computer, it said that I did everything good. Knight f6. Okay, here I saw this queen a1 move. I could have made it, but I didn't have enough time, so I decided to play knight g4. Okay, and then on move 40, after move 40, I was able to calculate everything till the end. And yeah, give a checkmate. So it was a nice and memorable game for me. I played, it was my first Olympiad for Switzerland. I've played many Olympiads for Russia, starting in 2002 for Russia 1. I played in 1998. I played for Russia 3. So the Budapest Olympiad was my 11th one, 11th Olympiad overall, and the first one playing for Switzerland. Of course, it's a different experience when you're playing for Switzerland, not for Russia. But at this stage of my career, I cannot say that I don't enjoy it. Okay, the Global Chess League. I played many nice games there. One of the nicest and the cleanest one is a game against Hampi Konoru. I was playing black. It was Nimzo defense. Nimzo Indian, right? It's called in English, I think. Yeah, quite a rare line for black, and the idea is to wait when white will play bishop d3 and play e5 suddenly. This move is possible. Of course, it's not winning the game, but knight e2 is the main move here, main theoretical move. But it does look pretty interesting. And Hampi decided to take on e5, and it's already a big inaccuracy. And because after this exchange, suddenly White pawns are quite weak, and I have a lot of initiative. And queen e2 is already a very serious mistake, because as we can see, it gets under my bishop's attack. King e1 would have been better. Yes, and here, okay, knight e5 is an easy move, and then b6 is a very strong move. And suddenly you can already start feeling that despite the fact that we are in the endgame, White king feels very insecure. f4, bishop a6 check, knight d3 check, and well, e4 is already like the crucial mistake of the game, because White had to finish development. White had to play knight h3 or knight e2 somehow, because after e4 suddenly I have this very strong move, knight e1. Since the knight is not developed yet, and the bishop is not developed yet, this e1 square is not protected by any of white rooks, but either of white rooks, and suddenly my knight here is transferred from d3 to c2, and then the second knight is coming, and it's such a brutal attack that you just don't expect to see in an endgame. Yes, the e4 pawn is under attack, knight d3 is coming. If she plays e5, the knight e4, knight takes e3 would take place. Well, still e5 would have been probably better, not to give up one more pawn, but yeah. And I have what, two extra pawns, but they felt like three. And yeah, well, I exchanged almost everything, and I managed to win the game quite smoothly with two extra pawns. It's not such a difficult task. Okay, that was quite an impressive and very powerful game. After a few inaccuracies from White side in the opening, just complete one wayer. Okay, and then I played in the WR chess tournament in London, and suddenly in the first game against Nadirbek Abdusatorov, I managed to win with black. That was quite unexpected. I played the Caro-Kann. Well, I decided, to take all the risk I could, and suddenly it paid off. Although I did play very badly in the opening, it was a very strange time control. H5 is inaccuracy, and I ended up in a very bad position, kind of mixing up all the lines that you can imagine here. And well, Nadirbek was playing very well, and he got a winning position quite easily. But then suddenly, for some reason, I didn't collapse as I usually do in my own time trouble. So okay, that's a winning position. He played well. Okay, the idea is after queen takes g5, he wants to capture and to take on c6. That's why I decided to exchange the queens. Okay, well, suffering. But here, for some reason, in my time trouble, he was playing very fast. He has different moves to convert his huge advantage. But okay, he played bishop g6. Suddenly, I found this rook a5 move. He played knight h6 though, very strong move. And again, in terrible time trouble, I find like my last chance, bishop d8. So I'm not like resigning yet. Still, like this endgame, this endgame should be winning for White, and probably it was the easiest way to proceed. But Nadirbek, I think, just wanted to win without any, long endgames. So he played rook b7, and he played rook b8. I think he thought that he's winning a piece here. And after f3, instead of just capturing, something unbelievable happened. Instead of just capturing, well, calculating, of course, and playing bishop e1, and that's basically the game over. I'm an exchange down and I don't have any counterplay. Counterplay is over. I mean, it doesn't work because of bishop g3. He played g4. And after g4 is not that lost anymore. So of course h takes g4. And here, well, I think, well, he should have played bishop e7. And he should have forced me to demonstrate the line that would lead to a draw. It's a very nice line that starts with knight e4, bishop g5, knight f2. So in this position, despite being almost 2 rooks down, white is not able to win. Yes, here. My knight and 2 pawns on f3 and g3 is enough to make a draw. Actually, it's white who has to be careful. He has to play king h1, not king f1 because of g2. And I can give a, okay, I can play on, but I can also give a perpetual check. Quite a position. I can also take, because I have this perpetual at any time. And again, like, yeah, g4, d6. d6, for example, loses because of king h4. Okay, but d6, of course, is not necessary. He can, like, bring his rook closer, and then at some point I would need to give this perpetual. But yeah, of course he had to play bishop e7. And instead he made something, like, unbelievable. He played rook f1. And suddenly his position is lost, and it's not, and I mean, I have several moves to win. I picked the easiest one, g2, attacking the rook and rook h5. My idea is pretty simple, right? Rook h3 and rook h1. And I don't really care how many pieces I'm gonna lose. And yeah, here after rook e3, I have bishop h2. To make it happen with checks, and white's king is just too weak. And after rook c to e8, I don't even take on e8. Of course, knight takes e8 wins as well, but king h7 just leaves the knight on the board, and I have puzzle rush checkmate coming up. Yeah, well, it looked, it was quite a collapse, quite an unexpected collapse, because, well, I was ready to resign at any point. I played so badly in the opening, and I did manage to find a few holding, not losing immediately moves during my time trouble, and suddenly, yeah, suddenly, for some reason, he decided to create a lot of trouble for himself. But yeah, it was it. That was it. I ran out of power and I lost the second game with white later on that day, and then I lost tiebreak. But of course, that's quite something for me to win against such a grandmaster, 27-83. So then what was Hogan? November 2nd, my last game of the Hogan tournament. I played against Maria Muzachuk, and also quite a decent game. I decided to open it with knight f3. Not according to the statistics, that's the second move that I make after e4. e4 is still number one move for me. I made it in 339 games. Hogan. Yes, Dirgy. In 339 games, I opened the game with e4 move. In 89, it's 89 games that I played. In 2024, I played knight f3. And in this game, I'm not sure what happened, but my opponent probably mixed up some opening lines and played knight b to d7, which is considered to be a bad line. But here I had to play e4. Like, the most precise way here is e4. That's why this move order is not considered to be precise. Because if black takes, then I played knight c3. And black is not in time to finish development. I mean, if she plays bishop e7, then I take, and suddenly the, and knight c6. So that's why e4 here is very powerful. I played knight c3, which is also not bad. Knight c5. My opponent decided to stop the e4 possibility. Here the strongest would be b4, queen e4, and then e4, but okay, it's too complicated. I played knight d4 and then e4. But here, okay, I gave some time for black to finish development, and no, that's what I could have. I didn't want to opt for this line. I played rook e1, b4, castle, castle, castle. Thank you, Pawn Mars Destroyer. You're gonna tell me the months for more photos later on. Okay, so bishop e3, a very pleasant position, but it became even more pleasant after black played e5. Okay, and not a lot of like some special difficult combinations here, but little by little I managed to outplay my opponent without, you know, without any trouble. And yeah, somehow it's already like lost. It's already lost. Exactly. Too many hanging pieces. And here, yes, I did go for the line where black almost obliged to give up her queen. And even though she's giving it up for some material, because if she doesn't give it up, if she plays queen f5, then she loses the game like this, in a puzzle rush style, bishop e4. She cannot take because of the knight f6. It's a Hogan event in Holland, next to Dirkje. Close to Dirkje. Puzzle Rush Championship is coming up, by the way. I will try to participate next week, next Thursday. And I need to stream it. So I'll be live one more time at least this year. Okay, yeah, and even though I wasn't sure about whether it's gonna be enough to win, when you look at this game with the computer evaluation, it's not interesting at all. During a practical game, I was not like 100% sure. I was hoping that it should be enough to win, but who knows, maybe there are some fortresses. But with computers don't believe in fortresses, right? So yeah, it's just quite easily. First I open up the position and get closer to her king, and then yeah, some more material is going to be lost. And yeah, she tried very hard to set up a fortress. For example, here without the bishop and the knight it would be a draw, but with the bishop and the knight on the board, it just completely lost. Okay, and I won this game. Yeah, nothing like special, but you know, quite an easily winning game, which I appreciated a lot. And it was the last classical game of the year. I haven't played that many classical games. I think it was, how many I calculated? So it was 18, 28, 30, 36, 39 games. 39 classical games. 28, 30, 30. Yeah, I think 39 classical games I played in 2024, which is not a lot. In 2025 there should be more. There should be more because, well, I'm going to play, I put all the tournaments that I know so far. I'm going to play it in 2 Grand Prix. It's 18 games already. Then, okay, World Cup, you never know. It can be 2, it can be 22. Yes. Then there's going to be European Team Championship. Well, maybe not 9, but 8 or 7 games. Then Euro Cup, 7 more games. Yes, Dirkje, I did my homework. And Grand Swiss, it should be announced. I mean, I hear some rumors, but it's all about different dates, places, and I'm not sure when it's gonna take place, but it means 11 more games. So, I mean, should be more, but in 2024 it was 39, yes. Okay, so let's finish up with the games. What else did I choose? 2 more games. Okay, one from Calcutta, where I didn't show good results, but I did win some nice games. This one is against Valentina Gunina. It's also nice because White just overpushed and ended up in a very bad position. Like, what can go wrong here, right? And no tournaments in Switzerland so far. No, that's a pity. Yes, they should organize more tournaments. I agree with you. Rook f2 c1. So pretty equal position. But suddenly, like little by little, White ends up in a huge trouble. And this game is about demonstrating how important an open file is. Yes, Dirkje, by the way, it's in the first weekend, World Chess Championship chess tennis. It's usually in the first weekend of August, if there is nothing to play. Usually it's World Team, like 2 years in a row, right? We'll see. Okay, so a4, b6, knight c3, yes. So the mistake of White here, like the main mistake, the huge mistake, was to give up the b file. So you see, she just moved away from the c file, and the c file is the only open c file of the position, and suddenly White is starting to struggle. And okay, I decided to repeat the moves, but even though Valentina is struggling here, and of course she had to repeat the moves, she decided not to repeat the moves. She decided to play for a win. So I didn't even have to do anything. I just waited, and yeah, my position was getting better and better because she was pushing her pawns forward, and when the pawns are so, like, they getting weaker, I had to play rook a to c3 though here, but it's Valentina, so at some point some chaos started on the board. I did allow this chaos to start on the board, unfortunately. Knight c4, knight c5, e5. Okay, that was not necessary. I had to play a rook b6 first, probably, and e5 I played, and then the position became equal because of this possibility. She could have played e4, and that's strange that she didn't opt for this move. Usually she jumps for such opportunities. She played rook b3. I had to take on d4 and play rook a2, or play rook a2 immediately, but instead I decided to protect the e5 pawn, and here she played e4, and here, surprisingly, I was surprised not to see e takes d5, because I cannot take with the king because of rook takes b5, so I have to play king b6, but then d6, and you know, 2 more moves and this pawn is a queen, and here I have to give perpetual. Maybe that's why she didn't play e takes d5, because she saw this line, but okay, sometimes you have to agree on a draw. Instead, she played rook takes d4, and after that I played flawlessly. I played very well, so I captured. I played rook e5, a very strong move, not only attacking on h5, but also securing the b5 pawn. Rook g3, b4, b3, and then b2, and suddenly there is no way to stop this pawn. Okay, and I won the game. And I'm gonna finish with one more rapid game from New York. And that's the line that I've started to play a lot. in every single online blitz. I played this line after e4, c5. You remember I used to play Alapin a lot. Now I play d4. And okay, if you look at my database, you're gonna see hundreds of games already played with this line. And luckily for me, I do remember some variations that I played. And in this particular game, my opponent opted for bishop f5. I've already had at least 3 title Tuesday games with this position. It's a ChessQueen line. Let's call it ChessQueen variation. You know, I've always dreamed of having a line, a chess variation, opening chess variation named after me. So I think that can be called a ChessQueen variation. Do you agree? Let's make a poll. If my spectators agree with it, we will do so. We're gonna name it the ChessQueen variation. Why not? ChessQueen, no? Okay, so yes, so as I said, I've already played a few title Tuesday games, and in that games I played queen to b3 because I was afraid of knight b4, and then I think knight a5, queen a4. I had a game like this, and then yeah, and then I think I won those games. But when I played them and I analyzed them, I saw the computer indicating queen to d1, and after knight b4, it's not scared of knight b4 because of c3, and suddenly after knight c2, g4, and that's a winning position for white. And I did remember this line, so I did we did reach this position. Well, I did reach this position with having, I think, more than 15 minutes on my clock. Unfortunately, I didn't analyze it further, and after queen a5, I started to think myself. That comes a big moment where you stop, like the theoretical knowledge is stopped. You don't know, like you haven't analyzed it at home, and now you on your own. And I remembered that, like, the evaluation. Yeah, exactly, Georgie. But what can you do? Either you analyze it more, or you play on. And I did remember the evaluation of the position, the computer evaluation, saying that it's like almost victorious for white. But what to do? I cannot let this knight escape, right? So black wants to take on a2. The first instinct, of course, is to play a4, not letting black take on a2. But the problem is that after a4, I saw queen b6, and if I play bishop e3 here, she captures on b2, and it's black who is winning, right? I do capture the knight, but yeah, just too many pawns I gave away, and that's why, well, I didn't know what to do, so I decided to look in another direction, and I played bishop g5 at the end. After the game, the computer indicated that a4 is indeed the strongest move here, but after queen b6, white has to play bishop b5. Not an easily found move. And after a6, you have to play bishop e3. Very nice intermediate move. And then we're back again to almost the same position as before. The knight is trapped. My next move is queen to a1, and the evaluation is +1 or close to +2. Okay, well, it's just a very complicated line. I played bishop g5. She captured. I captured the knight. So I gave away 2 pawns to capture the knight. And the problem is that my king's position is weakened. But I did manage to find like all the strongest moves. F takes g6. Here I was not so sure about f takes g6, and I think that's the move she had to make, because, well, it weakens her king a little bit, but it also creates more pressure around my king side, and it would have been more difficult for me to play. I would still play queen a4. I was still going to play queen a4, but okay, not so clear. After h take g6, I played queen a4, and here, yeah, she made a big mistake. She played a6, but that allowed me time to regroup, to put my queen on h4, and okay, bishop e7, knight g5 is a serious threat, and after e5, it's almost game over, because her pawns are not moving. I was able to blockade them, and I always can combine my maneuvers with those threats around her king, connected with knight g5 and queen h7 idea, and it's just too difficult to play. And the position, yes, you see that I kind of recoordinate pieces, creating new threats with every move. And okay, I did manage to win. Yes, rook takes g6, and I won this game. So yeah, very nice and win in the ChessQueen variation. Yeah, the Sicilian was queen takes d4, which I've been playing quite a lot, and I'm sure I will be able to play a few more games even later on today. Okay, well, that's what I wanted to share with you. I remember October